this lovely playground. We have Aqua with us today. Thank you very much for coming. This is Stephen. Who's new here? Who's new here? Hasn't been here before? Yeah. So you've brought some new faces this time, which is good.
You're welcome.
Perfect. For those of you that don't know us, I'm sure you know Aqua. If you don't, he's going to explain it to you anyway. ECS Digital is a digital and DevOps transformation consultancy, and we help organizations through this journey, Aqua being one of our partners. I'm not going to bore you for much longer, so I'm just going to pass it over. Let you start.
Oh, yeah, I don't need the mic because I'm mic'd up. Great. Thanks.
Guys, thank you.
I will continue to bore you. Hello, I am Steve Giguere. This is DevOps Playground. This is awesome. Thanks for coming. Apologies for the weird week change thing that happened. I don't know, clerical error. I don't know whose fault that was. But thanks. Yeah, I'm sure it got super confusing. Just pretend there's 120 people. It's all good. So this particular one, hands-on security with open source tools. Aqua does have a thing, like a big sort of commercial thing. How many people have heard of Aqua? Yeah, probably more. How many people? And more people have heard of ECS than Aqua. Everything I go to, I have to ask how many people actually know who we are, because containerized security is actually pretty niche. So it's new, and it's kind of a whole new space. Best practices being established. Open source tools are kind of exciting. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through some of the open source tools that we have. You can go to GitHub/Aqua Security, and we've got way more than what I'm going to talk about tonight. And hopefully you guys will follow along, and we'll learn. By the end of it, you'll know how to install it and play with it. And this session's very focused on kind of designing images and making choices and running them and getting kind of a security's eye view on what you're doing prior to, hopefully, pushing really bad stuff into CI/CD or into registries and all that. At the moment, if the people who are here, easy introduction, that's me over there, but this other guy is somewhere in the room. There he is. There's Rodney, my faithful assistant. If for some reason you're plugging away and you're like, but mine's not working, it's not doing what his is doing, Rodney's here to help. He works with me and he knows all this stuff works, even though he's never seen this presentation before. So I'm sure it's going to go fine. Minor plug, there are some stickers up there. I didn't ask if I could do this. Sorry, Phil, I'm going to do it anyway. I have a podcast, so if you like my voice and you just love the sound, it's going to put you to bed at night. This is a podcast that I do. I'm on episode 9, has been recorded. Hey, this guy's right there. You're famous. So this is, and it's pretty fun. It's pretty relaxed. Beer optional, but it's just meant to be conversations you might have at a pub with some people who really like this space. So, if you have a topic, I'm plugging, that you're really passionate about, like, come talk to me. And it's not exclusive. Anybody can be on it if you like talking for 30 minutes about tech. Awesome. What are we going to talk about tonight? All right, 3 tools, given we have enough time. And of course we will, because we actually don't have 120 people. So the first one is Trivy. Trivy is a vulnerability scanner for containers. It's meant to be easy for developers. It was designed and written by a guy named Tepe, Japanese guy. It was so good that we bought it off him and him. He actually moved from Japan to our headquarters in Tel Aviv to then work for us and develop this and integrate it into our world, because it's just really quite cool. It's all Git-based. It's super fast. It's just brilliant. So we're going to play with that, and we're going to kind of explore a use case around how we would and why we would use it, right, on a desktop. Going to the other side, KubeHunter. KubeHunter is kind of a Kubernetes cluster pen testing tool. It's been around for a while. It's incorporated into our real product. It's kind of how sometimes we develop the actual commercial product, is we develop things in open source, we put it out there, we develop a team, and when it gets kind of cool, it gets pulled back into the real thing, but it still stays out there in the open source community for anyone to use. How you do it, it's containerized. What we're going to do is we're going to launch a KubeHunter pod into an AKS cluster, and we're going to see what it tells us about that AKS cluster. Now this could go really wrong, because it's an AKS cluster I've made. It's got a whole bunch of nodes, and I hope we can all do it at the same time. What could go wrong? Finally, we're going to use something which is in beta, which is super new. This could blow up. It's called Tracy. It's a lightweight tracing. I'm going to read what it says. Lightweight tracing for running containers. It uses a tech called eBPF. And okay, this is going to be low. Who's heard of eBPF? Guy in the back. I figure that's cool. So it uses a spoiler. It stands for Enhancements to Berkeley Packet Filter. Forget you heard that. It's irrelevant. It's one of those things where they create an acronym and then it moves so far along that it no longer resembles the acronym. But it's a cool bit of tech that allows us to, even like in a Linux environment on our desktop, spin up a bit of tracing, which via pushing some kernel code in, and then we can just run our container and see what happens. And you see all sorts of interesting stuff. And we use it internally. Touch the computer regularly enough for like sort of honeypot behavior, so we can run things and see if there's any malicious behavior in a running container. Because it's one thing to scan a container and see that there are known vulnerabilities. But some very clever baddies can put things in there that look good, but they're not. And so if you can run it and run a trace against it, and you could see its behavior, networking process, everything it's doing, it can provide you some interesting insights into what its intent really is. So those are the three we're going to try and use. Okay, why? Why would we bother? I've been asked to provide context, and I'm going to. Vulnerabilities have logos. You all know this. So much so that when I started searching for logos for this slide, I got a marketing website that could help me make my own logo for when I find my own bug. That's the world we live in. Pretty nice stuff. Here's a whole bunch of stats. This is good to know, actually. Like, if you just think about the context within which you work in terms of security, only 1/8 of every open source vulnerability is actually exploited. That's one of those things that makes me go, oh, yay, is that any good? I don't know if that's good or not. There's 8,000 a year. No, boo. That's 1,000 a year, averaged over 10 years. I'll show you a chart in a moment. 15 days from release to exploit. It sounds like we're getting better because it used to be 45 days, but that means just the baddies are getting better, not us. It's only 15 days. If it's going to be exploited, if it's part of the 1/8, it's going to show up in. So that's a good number. Typically, if you think of a new CVE is released, kind of keep it in your head. If something's going to kind of bite us, we got it less than 15 days before some bot is out there looking for it. Only 0.4 of 0 days were 0 days prior to release. So if you watch like a it's one of those Fast and the Furious, right, where Charlize Theron says, "Find me all the 0 days in the neighborhood." Don't we love those films? And then you take over all the cars. That's exactly what our world is like. But only 0.4, which is still 320 a year that are kind of lurking out there. So this is kind of stats that's just like, oh, neat. It came from Gartner, so it must be true. Here's a website where we get numbers from. CVE details, credited up there. Now, I said 8,000, right? Those last few numbers are actually kind of the problem. This is recent years. And it's funny, like different people attribute the increase in numbers to different things. Is it just more tools, more researchers? Cybersecurity has kind of taken on a bit of a headline-esque, people are piling in. So is it just more work into finding CVEs, or are there actually more CVEs? And actually we just let too many go in these older years. Hard to know. And by the way, that's not like, yay, December wasn't there yet. I don't know what December is. Oop, you don't want to see those. So another reason it's important. Not only are there more CVEs and there's more research. If you've heard of Shodan, Shodan's out. It's going to be you every time, isn't it? He's at the back. Shodan's a tool out there to just look for things you can't see on the internet. That's a good way of describing it. People say it's the Google for IoT, it's the Google for nuclear power plants, it's the Google for ICS systems. A recent ICS honeypot found all sorts of stuff. It was in the news like yesterday, and they mentioned Shodan in the article as a tool you can use to find industrial control systems that are just left exposed. This is me looking for open Docker sockets. So a Docker API that's just, I just have it. 4,000. Nice. If I did a similar search for Heartbleed, that fancy logo that was up there earlier, there's still 17,000 Heartbleeds out there. So feel free to play with Shodan. They have a wonderful API that you can automate all of this if you want. So that's kind of nice. This even idiots like me can write things that find vulnerabilities with very minimal effort. And if you're super lazy, you can even search by CVE and find a vulnerability by name. So why is that bad? Oh, anybody here in security? Yes, I knew you were going to put your hand up. There's another, okay, another security here. I'm sorry that you're in security. Security people's life is hard. There was a study last year by Nominet saying that, was it 17, something like 1 in 5 security people self-medicate to try and deal with the problems. I guess the other 4/5 are liars, but that it's a problem. And the best way I can represent your life is this wonderful image of these are security tools. There are many. There are DAST, there are IS, there are SAST. Every letter of the alphabet is slowly will have something, an application security testing acronym after it. And it's just pounding vulnerabilities into this poor security person's face. And he's got to deal with how to prioritize it, how do I know which ones to do? I don't know. Do I feed them back to developers? Do I have workflows? And they would much rather you did just a little teeny bit on your desktops to just a little bit cleaner than before it got into his domain. A lot of security tooling like to talk about all of your vulnerabilities under a single, I have to get this right, pane of glass. Very marketing. See, some people are giggling because they've heard that before. And then I did a roadshow at the end of last year where a Microsoft guy got up, and I shouldn't have said that, Microsoft guy. An anonymous other vendor got up there and said, and he was a little nervous. He said, yeah, we give all your vulnerabilities under a single glass of pane. And I thought, interesting, a single glass of pane. That's a nicer way of putting it, perhaps. So, moving on. Who's actually following along and has a laptop ready to roll? Is it most people, or are some of you here just kind of only one person has a laptop, or are you just here for the pizza? He's ready to roll. All right, cool, man. Nice. You don't get to take it. You want to take a photo of my single glass of paint? Go for it. All right. I'm super happy the fridge isn't filled with Bud Light now. It's got regular Bud. Okay, Trivy. What does Trivy actually mean? Simple and comprehensive vulnerability scanning for containers. First scan should take about 10 seconds, which is pretty cool, right? Subsequent scans finish in seconds because it does one little database update, and then it only does increments because it pulls deltas from Git. Very cool. Stateless, no maintenance or preparation, super easy. So I do have instructions here, but you don't need those because let me see, which way do I go? I don't know if you were given this or how this gets distributed. I'm going to ask the background staff. Was this somewhere that they know where to go to get this? All right, it's up there. These are the instructions. I'm going to leave it there. I can zoom. There's a notepad? What are you talking about? There we are. So that didn't make that any bigger, but you are familiar with github.com, I would imagine. /DevOps Playground / hands-on with Trivy to Tracy. And there's a reason why you want to go there. If you've been here before, you'll already know. It's because it's a massive cheat sheet. That's why you want to go there. It's got all the cool stuff you can do to cheat and custom paste, and yep, makes things go way faster. Because if I didn't do this, we'd be here all night. If you're, I guess there are tippy taps, so I assume either you're on Facebook or you're still getting there. You getting there? Got there? You didn't seem too sure. Definitely. All right. Awesome. So you're there. So once you're there, all of this, if you're in your environment, you were given an environment as you walked in the door. If you didn't, there's little cards up there that give you a nice little login. I'm going to walk across right now, and my beautiful assistant is going to show you. So if you didn't get one of those, you got to make sure you get one, because that basically gives you an environment to play along with. And if I go to the opposite side, that looks like this. You see? I am working with Trusting Shiner. You all should have a unique environment name that ensures that we're not actually going to smash someone else's environment. Of course, now you can see what mine's called. That's not good, is it? But I think we all have the same password. Can I confirm that? We all have the same password? No, we don't? Seem pretty generic. Well, your credentials should be there. Boom. So let's make sure we're all ready and we have our logins. I have 2 logins. and I recommend just duplicating and creating 2 tabs because we'll need 2 tabs a little later on. Or you can wait because it's only for Tracy. I'll reconnect. It logs you out pretty quick, by the way. So just really memorize how to type your password really fast. And every now and then come by here and do things. Okay, something else I'll show you up here. That's way too small, right? Okay, good. Just want to make sure I can do whatever I want and then it's small. Step 1, make sure Docker's installed. That's just making sure the environment's all cool, because I used to have Docker just as part of the instruction. Just check you've got a modern version that looks sensible. 1809, that's nice. Assuming they're all duplicates of one another, so everybody good. You've got Docker installed. Ace. You've got this thing up, so we're going to do a few cutting and pasting. The first thing I want you to do is actually install Trivy, but you don't have to do a git clone of Trivy. We will use that to install some of the other things because they're a bit new and they don't have an installer properly yet. But in the meantime, we good? Oh, that's the pizza. You can stop listening now. The pizza's here. So to install Trivy on a Linux, it's a pretty simple list of commands. What's nice is this is going to stay here. Sometimes just the hurdle to using an open source tool is to figure out the stupid way to install the thing. So it's a nice order of operations there. Wow, this logs you out quick. All right. Oh, am I? And I'm logged out there too. Well, so if you can stay logged in, you should be able to just paste all that. Sometimes something messes up, just paste it twice. Yeah, I had to paste it twice. Paste the lot twice, and I'll figure out why it does that later. I'm going to let it go. I'm sure everybody's doing it. Hopefully you're all doing this at the same time. You look like you're done ages ago. Excellent. There's always one. What's that? Would you mind sharing the GitHub repo? Yep, no worries. There we go. Do you want to see where to go? It's DevOps Playground. So github.com, DevOps Playground / hands-on-with Trivy to Tracy. Anyway, you can see it. He's not paying attention anymore. Awesome. Good. If you're done, try Trivy-H. -H is like an international standard, like pi. It should always be there. If it gives you some problem, then I think your open source tool's got an issue. Oh, it's upgraded 0.4.3. We did all this on 0.4.2, so if it all blows up, now we know why. So I'm going to kill this off. Oh, cancel. Because this is probably what's killing my battery. Good. Are we there? Thumbs up? Brill. All right, there's a lot of options here, which often can be kind of like, I don't want to read them all. But really, in the short term, you need 2. If Trivy ever just starts acting weird, use the -- reset. It puts you back as if you hadn't installed it. We'll re-download the database. Fresh as a daisy. We're all good. The main ones, though, are probably in reverse order. Ignore unfixed, which means if you have a lot of vulnerabilities and you just don't want to see the ones that you can't possibly fix, use that, and it'll just filter those out and you won't see them. The other one is -- severity value, or I would say -S is a lot shorter, and then you can use a severity like, for example, critical, and you can only see the ones that really, if they get out into the world, your security guys are going to go, why did you even start with a critical vulnerability? Now, we could just go off and start scanning things from Docker Hub. You could just type Trivy Postgres : 9.7 or 6 or whatever, and it'll just go and it'll scan it, and you'll see what the Postgres container looks like. Postgres, I think, is based on Debian, so it'll have an absolute ton of potential vulnerabilities in it, but we're not going to do that. What we're going to do instead is we're going to kind of go through the sort of thing that I did when I was writing something in Python, and I'm going to Google what's the best base image for a Python application. Which, Python? Anyone? Love it? Hate it? Good. Enough. And I got to this article, and I don't mean to pick on this. I don't know who wrote this article. I'm not going to try. Forget. Let's get his name off the screen. So I got to here, and it said, when you're building a document for a Python application, blah, 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 this is great advice on using things. These are the things you want. Security, stability, maybe not security. Why you shouldn't use, I like that. Why you shouldn't use Alpine Linux. And I thought, interesting. That's one of the leanest, most popular base images for containerization on the planet. Why would he not want to use that? And it goes through a series of how actually he's not wrong. So it uses, what's that? Right. You can do a bit of work, though, to make it work. Now, do you want to do the work? Maybe not. But if you look at the examples, the options, well, recommending Ubuntu, CentOS, or Debian in necessarily that order, is that necessarily the best alternative to not using Alpine? Or maybe you could find something that maybe sits in the middle that might solve both problems. So what we're going to do now is just to explore what did I do with Trivy when I saw this article. I thought, interesting. What if we compare all of those? And we use Trivy to do it. So if we go back to our instructions, and we just start our playing. Now, I started off by trivying Ubuntu 18.04. Now, feel free to, if you haven't been logged out, which I have. You should. Now, I piped it to grep total. I should have done a clear before I did that, so you can actually see at the back. I piped it to grep total because I just wanted to see the top. That's because I know the output that's coming can be a lot. So I did that. It'll do its first download, the one that should take about 10 seconds. I'm not necessarily counting. About 10 seconds, right? Download database, hadn't run it on this environment. I'm new to this environment just like you are. And I can see the header, 10, medium, 44, high, okay. 71, it's not too bad. If I really want to see what it looks like, I could get rid of that and look at the full output. Feel free to try that. It should be a little quicker because it's got the database. So that's pretty fast for a scan. Now now it's better if I shrink it a little bit. Forgive me, just so I get it kind of all. It's pretty dense. So you can read that, right? But the idea, if we go back, way, way back up to the top, is that I typically export this to a file and look at it as a file. But it has the library, the vulnerability, the severity, the installed version. If there's a fix, there'll be a fix. It tells you the base. If you're using another container, this will actually be the base OS, so you'll see which one it is. And so you can see if it's based on Ubuntu, then you'll see a lot of the base operating systems may not have a fixed version. You just have to upgrade the entire OS base. But it's a lot to take in. So if I was going to choose Ubuntu, I'd be thinking, what's going to happen when it goes through the pipeline, and this is going to kick off a whole bunch of vulnerability management that I don't necessarily want to deal with because it might come all the way and boomerang back to me. So let's try the rest of the recommendations. I'm going to scroll way back to the bottom. Hit enter frequently so I don't get logged out. So these are the other two. Now I'm only going to do the grep total at the moment because I really just want to see the total count. I had 71 last time. And let's check CentOS. Wait a moment. Depends on the size of the image, of course, as to how long it takes. So I went from 71 to 733 and 10 critical. All right, so the winner right now is Ubuntu. That's pretty good, right? That's not bad. If you do want to play with some of the things that we talked about, probably not in the directions directly, but you can use -s critical just to get a look at those 10 criticals and see. I like to see what year they are because the CV always has a year on it, right? So you can kind of go, are they old? Are they new? Old ones you can feel a little bit better about maybe because if they haven't fixed them, maybe they're not bad. But there's kind of a lot of 2019s in there. And you can even grep for 2019 just if you want to see. And that's, I've already asked Tepe, who still works for us, like, can you add some kind of additional filtering? But I quite like filtering on the year because you get a really tight list of all the vulnerabilities and you can start to explore. And this I see, say when I see things like SQLite, and if you look in there and you play a little bit more, you'll see there's actually an SQL injection and you're like, ugh. So maybe we're not going to go there. So we'll do the last one. I know the keeners, I've already done it. We'll just check and see what we actually get when we do Debian. Not bad. Second place, 79. Let's push that up to the top. 1 critical. So again, we could go in and we could look at the critical and we could think, okay, so as a developer, I'm like, okay, my base operating system, this is what happens when you're using some of the base, really, really famous name brand, let's call them, OSs. And let's compare that with what we're not allowed to use. So I'm going to push this up to the top. We're going to take a pretty current version of Alpine. We're going to try that. And I'm going to spell clear right. I still can't spell it right. Directly proportional to the number of people. It's a good thing we don't have all those people. That's a pretty good version. Maybe I should use that one. But I'm going to have all those glibc issues with running Python within this environment. But then I thought, surely somebody somewhere has solved this problem. Nobody ever does anything original anymore, right? That would be crazy. So I did a little bit of searching around. And of course, this wonderful guy has done it for me. I like that guy. And I looked at him, João Ferreira Loff. Checked out his repo. It looks pretty legit. I scanned it. I even ran it in our honeypot to see if it's actually trying to do something like weird. He's just being too nice to us. No, he's actually nice. What on earth? And it can run Python 3.8. Let's check it out in Trivy. Much better, isn't it? Now I've got an Alpine-based, corrected, rebuilt to run Python base image that I can start running my Python application on. And I didn't have to go dealing with a base OS that has a huge operating system. I didn't have to deal with the headache, and believe me, this guy's done some work for us, trying to get Python to run in Alpine, and after doing that, I went out there and found, I want to buy this guy a beer maybe next time if I ever meet him. There are some 2019s, but this is a lot easier to deal with. Like if you look at the way that these can be exploited, and you look at the way your Python application is going to run on there, you can potentially sign those off and go, yeah, security team's going to be kind of okay with those. They're mediums. They're pretty weird corner cases in terms of exploits. I'm going to be okay with that, or I'm not okay with that. But the idea is that developers who are trying to design safe images, this is how you can use Trivia on your desktop quickly to just make sensible choices about the base images that go into your designed images. And then when you're done, you can have your own Docker image, and you can run it again on Trivia to make sure you didn't kind of mess it all up by adding a few libraries or dependencies afterwards that kind of undid all your wonderful work exploring base images. So that is Trivia. I'm going to stop, take a sip, and see if anybody didn't get to the end, has any questions on how it works, or thought it was odd. Question in the back. He beat you to it. Yeah. Yeah. No, I've already done that one. That is a request for enhancement already. And I did that when I was developing this thing. I thought there'd be an option to do that, and that's why I had to add the grep. And I was like, what? This is stupid. Tepe. So yeah, great. Both of those great suggestions. And he has, it's on 0.4.3, so we'll cut him some slack right now. It was a one-man development outfit, and now he has a team of like 7 people. So it's going to come on in leaps and bounds. Those are definitely enhancement requests. It's on a massive pile, but it's quite cool. Like, it could be. I assume that I wasn't the first. No, but it's good you pointed it out, because then I don't feel like a loner like asking for it. But yeah, for me it was about speed. I used to work in the world of static analysis, and that was notoriously slow, and it means that devs won't use it, right? If that's the problem, then if anything that takes is not at the speed of DevOps, no one's going to touch it. Whereas this actually is pretty awesome. Plus, you can, if you explore some of the other options, it's actually relatively easy to import into CI. Someone's already out there written a GitHub action for it, so you can just add it into certain pipelines. So the community around it is kind of like loving it. So that's part one.
Is it a replacement for Kubernetes?
It's an addition to Kubernetes. For those of you who don't know Kubebench, we're not going to do it today, unfortunately. Kubebench automates the CIS benchmark with Kubernetes, which is a massively pedantic, painful exercise. And Kubebench, which is in our GitHub repo, you can just run it and it checks Kubernetes. Now, similar to Kubebench is what we're going to do next, though. You had a question. Oh, you're speaking to speaking to the awkward block.
So how are you defining the parameters?
I'll repeat the question. I'll repeat the question as well.
So how are you defining the parameters?
Sure, good question. So when a CV is defined, there's something called the CVSS scoring. NVD, there's National Vulnerability Database, give it a score of 0. There's different versions of CVSS, version 2, version 3. We're using a scoring called CVSS version 3. Typically, this is getting it from the National Vulnerability Database. So if you go to just Google NIST NVD, it'll take you right there. Or if you, or even just look for Google CVE 2019-19906, it will show you the NVD link, and you'll see how they come up with the scoring and give it a 10. We're not making it up. It's like a standard that we're going to get. So it's worth knowing, too, sometimes if you see something from a vendor, like Debian is a good example of that, you might see an NVD score of like 9. Worth seeing if Debian has a score as well, because it may not always be the same, even though it's a standard. But they may have, there might be 2 CVSS scores sometimes for a vulnerability. Just thought I'd throw that little extra tidbit out there to confuse you. Cool?
Yeah, because I'm using CentOS, that's why I'm scared.
Oh, CentOS was last place, wasn't it? That was the 733. All right. So what's your application? Awesome. All right. That is part 1. Complete. You all get an A+. Fantastic. So this is what we did. We don't need the slides. It was just for sake of introduction. So now we're going to move to KubeHunter. And I know there's probably some keeners who have done the entire thing already. But let me just explain. KubeHunter is like Kubebench. The idea behind it is it hunts for weaknesses in Kubernetes clusters. It can do that from outside. So you can run it as a container or as just a KubeHunter Python script. Tell it, my cluster's over there. And it will go and look. But it's kind of limited in that behavior, right? Because it's not inside. It just goes, well, I can see you've obviously got the API exposed. That's really bad. I can see your health check results are exposed. That's bad. It's bad, but it's not terrible, right? But you can also spin up KubeHunter as a pod in a Kubernetes cluster, which is interesting. That means it can kind of start poking around, and even if it sees something and maybe it thinks that it can exploit in certain cases, it'll try. So that's kind of neat, right? Now, I will add, it's at the bottom, do not run KubeHunter on a Kubernetes cluster you do not own, because it kicks off all sorts of alerts because it looks like suspicious activity. KubeHunter will try and run as privileged. It'll try and do things that it shouldn't do, right? So if you run KubeHunter, I've got KubeHunter, I'm going to give you access to an AKS cluster I've set up for you to destroy. It is running Aqua, our commercial product, to stop you all messing with it. The only thing you can run in this cluster should be KubeHunter and nothing else, and you shouldn't be able to see anything. If you can, wait till afterwards and show me how you broke it. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go back to instructions, re-enter our password. Tips for the Weddy setup: make the login timeout like longer than 5 seconds, please. The installation is quite simple. It's actually just a git clone. We're going to git clone our repo. If I zip over to the far side, I should have KubeHunter here. You can see this is our Aqua Security. I think I've got KubeHunter preloaded. That's where it lives, but the instructions are in the other Git repo. I'm going to bring that down so you can see the fancy logo. But everything you need is here. So we're going to run that. It's a cut and paste after we enter our password. Pow. I like it. Paste. And now people who are tracking are wondering why everyone's downloading KubeHunter. All the people at Aqua are going to get super excited and not realize it's a session. So we are going to do, let me just follow along and make sure we're doing this all in the right order. We need a kube config. So we need to be able to use kubectl and do some things to launch kubehunter, right? kubectl is not installed in this environment. I'm pretty sure it isn't, so there's instructions on how to do that. We also need a kubeconfig to get access to the AKS cluster. You'll probably now, the big reveal, you have all this in the desktop directory. It's already been pulled. That might not be because they put a capital on it. Let me see if that works, but let's double check whether that is correct. Oh, you in the capitalization. So it's gonna be slightly different. Apologies for that. I will put it on the screen exactly how it should be, but you should be able to use auto completion. Grab the export cube configs tilde desktop and just tab it out, and then type D, tab it out again. So I did it at the bottom because I'm a terrible presenter. So I'll hit an enter and push that up to the top. So there's a slight change just to get case sensitivity correct. Capital H, capital T, capital T. So that was the fine friends at DevOps Playground correcting my bad titling. So once we have a kube config set, we're good. But we don't have kubectl. So let's CT into our kubehunter directory. Go over here. You see I've got that there. And let's go get it. Again, should be a cut and paste straight out of the instructions, because nobody wants to memorize this, right? No. It's amazing, since making this lesson, the number of times I've actually used this just for other things. It's been pretty handy. And it does have the ch plus x. We can just double check it's there. Let's assume -v works. It doesn't. Really? -h works. All right, whatever. We know it works. Everybody, thumbs up. Got the kubectl working? All right, thumbs up all around. Nice. That's a great seat back there, by the way, the one in the purple. So we're kind of set up now. We set our kubeconfig export. It might be worth just doing an end and making sure that our kubeconfig actually succeeded. I can't see where it is, but I'm sure it's there. There it is. Yep. Just make sure that everything looks good. You can do kubectl get pods. Will that actually work? Oh no, /. Good. So I'm going to move that up to the top. Make sure you do a /, otherwise it doesn't know. So I just did a get pods. There shouldn't be anything running. Very good. I can see somebody going over in the back there. You all good? All right, it's fine. Everyone got to the point where you can actually see what the namespace looks like now? Yeah? No one's shaking their head, so I'm assuming we're all good. Good cube hunting? Get it? All right. Stick to your J job. So what's nice about in here is there's actually a job.yaml in the directory, and it's got some good stuff in it. Do not run it as it is. I should have said that right away. Don't get ahead of me and just start running the job. I'll show you why. There are multiple parameters for it. The most important one when you're first playing with kubehunter is one called --quick. Because if you don't push --quick, it really starts enumerating the environment. And in AKS, there's a lot. So it can take about an hour to run without a --quick option on it. So what we're going to do is we're going to add that --quick. Now, there are many ways to do it. If you're proficient with Vi or Vam or whatever you want to call it, you can just add it. Yep. Zoom in. Yep. Yeah, no worries. Oh, I'm off the screen now. How do I do that? Let's do that. All right. So the easy way is I actually stuck a cat set in there, which will just add the --quick for you. So if you're as lazy as I am, you should be able to just do a cat. Let's see if that works. Bing. ls. There should be a job 2 now. Let's cat job 2 just to make sure I didn't completely mess that up. All right. So if you looked in the thing, there's a cat. Cat sends that out, creates a new job, and I've just injected the --quick option there. Cool. Everybody's good. Top marks. So what are we going to do? Is it? Oh, yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. There's capital all on all the important words. But I would just paste part of it. Yeah. That was a loss in translation between, it was in, the instructions were in my GitHub repo, and they forked it over, and they tidied it up, and I didn't realize, so I didn't change the instructions. But I'm sure we'll all get past it. So what I want you to do now, if you've made that job too, I actually want you to run something else you should notice. Let's see if it worked. Let me just job 2 again. Whoa, we all have the same username. All right. What I'm going to need you to do, and this is going to be a real test, because I don't have a sed for it. Do you see this? You need to change that to something unique to you.
I would suggest your environment ID.
Yeah, I put it as user ID, which turned out everybody has the same user ID as Playground. I took a shot at it. It's my first DevOps Playground. I'll go something different next time. If I'm geeky enough to do this, oh, not that one. Job 2. And just like, I'm just gonna, no one's gonna do Steve G, blah, right? But just stick something unique and put your birthday in there. Put the year you were born, 1991. That's full of crap. Yes, yes, exactly. Well, that's weird. It auto-indented. That could have broken on me. So do something like that. If you have any trouble doing anything like that, like because you're not like a Vi person and you're not used to Linux or your Windows, ask Rodney. Rodney's a wizard with Linux. He'll even come over and do it for you, and if you need a drink, he'll do that. He'll get you one of those as well. So when you've created something unique, and we're going to make another job in a moment, so you're going to have to do it again. We're going to make a job 3 in 2 seconds. Yeah, make sure it's something unique. And then when you're done, we run the next. We're gonna run it. We're gonna run these 3, not necessarily in a row, so don't cut and paste them all, but kick it off. Created. So you should get a positive result. I'm gonna say describe. I'm gonna actually, I think that's instructional error. We did do a dry run of this once, but we were supposed to do a second one. So I'm going to get pods now. Woo! The good news is that I can see you all. So I can see who's getting it right. There's me. So this is good. So these are the recent ones. These are the complete. You see how fast it runs? It's pretty quick, right? That's because we have the -- quick on there. Wonder how many nodes we have. So, I see some chatter. So, yeah, if you have any questions, ask your neighbor, and then ask Rodney. Now it's just a whole bunch of stuff a little bit before, but go all the way up to the top. All right. Hands up if you got logs out of it. Yes? No? Did you do the export cube config? Let me jump back. There. Yeah, if we just cut. So there's a spelling mistake here on the instructions. If you just cut and pasted that, and I'll do it again. So what I would recommend you do for that step, if that kind of messed you up, you just kind of, I'll do it in this window as well. I will do it again here. Got it? So I just hit tab and it autocompletes and spells it right. And there's only one YAML that starts with D, so I just type the D, tab again, and we're all set. So I'm going to do this again. I'm going to do a clear. Ah, this is better. Way more, way more. Cool. This looks so much better. More people are succeeding. So you should be able to see it takes no time at all. It's like a 3-second pen test. So the next thing is to just get the logs from yours. So I'm just doing a get pods to get the list. You can see up here. And I'll leave that on the screen. Jane was asking if we should all see the same vulnerabilities. Yes, we generally should. So I'm going to finish again doing what I did before. So if you're good, you got logs. There should actually be a lot. So much so that you're going to want to pipe into a file. Oh. This shell has issues, doesn't it? Let's try it in small version. Oh my goodness. Okay. Well, that's not going to work. Just type it. Ooh, good? Super happy? All right, great. You got it. We got it. We got it. We got it. We got it. Okay. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, man, that was hard work. We get to experience real life there for a moment. We had a YAML. We found it inserted weird tabs. We found that quotes. Nightmare. All right, the next thing's going to be super easy because I already wrote the code for you. So you got results from it. Good? I dare if I do the next step. But I will tell you what the next step is, and we can do it afterwards if you're super keen, right? Because the environment's still going to be there. But I'll show you what I would like you to try after we do the Tracy bit, because I realize we're pressed for time. And that would be, and please be careful. So we remember, I'm going to boost this up because I was getting weird behavior when I was really big. Here, I piped the export of my logs into a file so I could just go play around and see some of the interesting things that were there. Another parameter, which there are instructions in the GitHub to do, is to add --active. That takes a little longer, but like 10 seconds. But then if it sees anything that's exploitable, it'll actually try and poke at it. And you should see in the results from that an example of a potential ARP spoof or a DNS spoof that it will say, actually, this can lead to this. And it will give you a bit extra information. So I know we're a little tight on time. You can do that afterwards. It's easy. But we're going to move and do the Tracy bit now, because I think the Tracy bit is quite cool. I don't want to skip it. So hopefully you saw some results. Actually, the results you get were like Tracy, like there's loads. There's a reason for that, because I chose a pretty, like I think it was 1.113 Kubernetes, which it wasn't long ago that was new. So it doesn't take much time for, it's like anything else, for a technology to age and for more misconfiguration concepts to come out. It's always happening, and the kube hunter that stores those misconfigurations is always updating. So it's always worth checking, even if you're using a fresh AKS, EKS, GKE deployment. They usually are totally clean. But it's worth just giving it a check and having a play. But do have some fun with it. Like intentionally deploy like a 1.9 Kubernetes. It's a disaster. And yet it was clean at the time. Okay. Jane, the salespeople are still working on it. Those are the salespeople from Aqua right there. No surprise they're lagging behind. eBPF stands for Enhancements to Berkeley Packet Filter. Brendan Gregg works at Netflix. You can tell he's keen on it, right? Superpowers have come to Linux. It's like what JavaScript did for HTML. Oh, I'm not sure I totally agree with that, but it's pretty cool. And you know he's serious. You know how you know he's serious about it? Sometimes you think, does he really know it? That's his website. That is the ugliest website. It's like 1995 or something again, you know, the Web v1. But that actually made me take him quite seriously. He doesn't care what it looks like. He's just like, here's the information. It's the easiest thing I could possibly do. How many tools have I written for eBPF? I don't know, a few? What part of the kernel you want to poke around in? Tracy's not there, but this is the same kind of tools he's written to try and poke around the kernel. The red ones are the ones he wrote recently for his book on eBPF. I'm not plugging it, but it's just, he's dedicated, let's just say that. So he's a pretty good person to, but basically, I can run code in the kernel without even writing kernel modules, because you don't want to start messing around with Linux kernel. If you're like me and you were born in 1991 and you remember the old days, back when you used to download Linux from Linus Torvalds' website, because you could sit and, nobody wants to do that anymore. There's extensions for eBPF that are written for two primary languages, Python and Go, which are very popular. BCC makes BPF programs easier to write. You can wrap your kernel modules in languages that you're familiar with and use the information from those and process it. And that's what Tracy does. That's what our new technology does. He's taking a photo. Did we release the slides, Phil? Yep. He released the slides. BCC is based on a few things, some compiler tool chains, Clang and LLVM. That's just for your knowledge. If you're, again, super old, you might even know that LLVM stands for low-level virtual machine. Has nothing to do with virtual machines. There's an intermediary bytecode where we convert some C and C++ code into bytecode, then we convert bytecode into assembly. Blah, blah, blah. Who cares, right? It works. They thought, back when that came out, they thought it meant virtual machine, and they were obviously totally wrong. It wasn't very future-proof. So it's just called LLVM, and we pretend that we don't know what it means. So what we're going to do, though, is we're going to use Python. We're going to use BCC for Python to stick a bit of eBPF code into the kernel, and we're going to see what happens when we do that. But we need to install the dependencies. And this is the thing. Of all this whole thing, this is probably the longest, to try and figure out how to get stupid BCC, the right version, installed into Linux and not have it screw up. And that's my guess. I've been logged out. Oh, and disconnected. Security first, right? And yes, I'm still trusted Shiner. Okay. Great, great, great. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to install the dependencies. And that is, again, in the instructions. Poosh. Let's hope I don't have a spelling mistake like I did last time. Ah! There's a caveat here. So for you Python lovers, I put something, this is the thing I went through. I assumed the library was going to be called BCC. So I installed BCC. And I got some vector graphic library. It's actually called libbcc, and I thought, rather than put you through the pain of all the things you got to do to install it, and whether you're using 2.7 or 3.7, 3 or 2, I've got both of them there, or whatever. That's the install. You should just be able to cut and paste that. Yeah. Oh, it got it at the end, though. We'll test to see if that worked. One moment while I verify that, in spite of the error, we're still going to be successful. So, clear. Back to the top. So this, all this stuff, and this is probably going to backfire because it's public and it's the first time I've done it. In the Git repo, there already was alho devops.py, rather than have you write it yourselves. It is here, down below. Let's assume that that stuff worked. Forget the errors. Errors, smears, they happen. this is the code. Just a little bit of Python. Oh, I don't use the time anymore, but so that's there just for fun. I took it out, but I left it. Typical developer, right? Throws a dependency in there, and then when I decide I don't need it, do I take it out? No. This is the interesting bit. Program equals, and then we frame it around 3 quotes. This is a great way to screw things up already, right? Quotes. A little bit of code, using a helper function, connecting our trace back to BPF. We can say hello DevOps Playground. And then I'm using the BCC library here, the BPF saying text equals the program. I'm going to attach this probe to any event that creates a sys clone. Now, I figure generally people understand with sys clone, anything new starts, you get a sys clone. So anytime we do any process or start any process, we should see hello DevOps Playground if this all works. And here's the connection. This program is already written. Feel free to cut and paste and rewrite it yourself. Talk to Rodney if it doesn't work. But the easier way would be to CD into desktop, capital H, we know that now. And there should be a hello devops.py, which looks a lot like what's on the screen. Now I'll tell you, everyone's tapping away. Anybody here like program? No, I'm not going to ask that. Anybody ever program in C? All right, good. There's no shame. That's where I started. That's where I started my days. So you'll know what debugging C is really hard, right? Even harder in this, because the compiler that's compiling this, if you really go to town on this, if you really were like masochistic, remove that semicolon and try running it. Does it tell you? No. It just goes, nah, bad C. It's not even as good as a normal C compiler, let alone a debugger. So don't screw up your C. This is why I wrote it for you. You should, now you might need to use sudo, but you should just be able to run it. It's not executable. Let's do boop, 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 boop. It's not executable. Apologies. Chmod plus x. So you see sudo. So it's extracted as root. Nice. Sudo chmod plus x. All right. Cool. So those are not in your instructions. I'm leaving them up there for a moment. We did a dry run with this, but I did it in a different environment, and then we switched environments. So there's slight changes to this. Add executable with sudo so that it allows you to do it. And then you should have executability on your hello DevOps, right? Uh-oh. Should be able to run it. Sudo, boom. Cool. Okay, so even though I got a bit of an error. So now anything clones or does anything, basically this is probably the refresh on it trying to maintain my shell. And so it's pinging every now and then. Everybody kind of, so that cut and paste, I obviously have an error in it, but I'm installing it twice so it works. So everything required is there. So if you run a sudo /hello DevOps, you should see this happening, and it should be pinging mostly the secure shell that you're logged in with, probably a heartbeat of some kind. If you want to do things yourself, this is why I had a separate panel, which I'm going to reconnect to. So that probably kicked off a bunch of stuff just doing that. Yeah. So just logging into my other second shell kicked off all sorts of stuff, which is kind of cool. It's nice to see, like, any process that starts, I get a bit of visibility into it, what it's doing, when it started. Didn't take much to create that, right? Pretty simple language. So that's kind of neat. So what I'd like to demonstrate, though, is like there's a problem with container security. Hey, that's why we're here. So I'm going to clear that one. All right, keep tapping that. And we're going to go back over here. And you see I've got this. Let's hope this works, right? I might need a sudo to make this happen. Who knows on permissions. I'll push this up to the top. I'm going to run Alpine, and I'm going to run as a shell in my other terminal. And I'm still going to leave this running over here so we can see stuff that happens when I run a container. And we can already see, again, if I run an ls or run a ps, things happen over here generally, right? But the problem generally I found is that if I run a container, let's see, of course it doesn't work, sudo, and it runs. It's going to go get it. That should only take 2 seconds because as we know, Alpine is super small and secure. That's going to kick off a whole bunch of stuff. I kind of like that. Because then you get a little bit of like, ooh, what happens in the background? You see containerd kicking off. You see runc doing its things. You can do a whole lot of interesting stuff around runtime environments and containers if you do that right. So the idea, it's a little distracting because this shell keeps tapping away. But when I go into the container, if it wasn't heart beating all the time and you did it on a real thing, anything you do here does nothing over here now. Because the containers have been running, it's now PID1. It looks like a single process. There's no more clone happening. All the things you're doing in the container that you might be fiddling about or running or processing or running Python, all that stuff you're doing looks like one thing, which looks like nothing to this eBPF program. And if you try, like, that's kind of a weird abstract representation of security tools. Because if you think, like, I'm watching stuff and I'm getting a real digging into new processes that are happening, all I did was run something in a container, and now I can just go about my business, do whatever I want, concealed under a single process ID to my standard tool living on the outside. So, okay. I think what ended up happening was our R&D people thought, oh, okay, so eBPF tools are actually pretty prolific. If you tailor them properly, you can get only the exact opposite what happens when you're in containers. So I'm going to Control-C out of that. Creates a bunch of junk. Don't really care. I'm going to exit out of my container here, but leave that kind of ready. And now I'd like you to, I'm going to CD back to the top, and we're going to install Trivy. And that, Tracy, sorry, is over here. Now we're almost near the end. So that's, yikes. It's just a git clone. Should be able to paste it. I went back to the root of my directory, by the way. So I should, I think it worked. So I have a Tracy directory. We all good? You can be tracy.git, it doesn't really matter. You cut and paste this tracy.git, and when you got it, I want you to cd into the Tracy directory. Like so. You'll see there's some pretty cool stuff there. Now I'm going to pause here for a moment, and you guys are looking at the screen, so I'll chat a little bit while you're looking at the screen. So I'm going to show you the eBPF program that is written for Tracy. Just a quick glance. You can go, oh, I'm so happy I didn't have to do that. Because the hello world kind of made me go, oh, cool. I know this stuff now. I could write anything. And then I spoke to Yaniv, who worked in our R&D, who wrote the Tracy program, and that guy knows everything. And I'm going to zip over here real quick, and I'm going to look at Tracy. I'm going to go in the Tracy directory. I'm going to look at Tracer. And I can see this Python file. I'm thinking, oh, it starts off good. There he is, Yaniv. But then I see all this. Whoa, oh, these are all the things that we're monitoring inside Tracy and how we're relating all of this back to containerization. And I thought, nope, 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 nope. I just want to run it, see what happens. But that is one heck of a elaborate eBPF program using BCC in Python. It's in Python at the moment. He's currently migrating it to Go. We'll see what happens. Watch this space. But we have the advantage of just being able to do sudo start.py-c. Now that is already in the GitHub. It's there. You can just cut and paste it if you don't like typing. And it should just run and give us a nice little header once it starts running. Because it's organized. We like to be organized. Cool. I'm going to back out a little bit just so I can level off the header and see if it does that. It doesn't adapt very well. All right, so let's Get out of that and try again. And let the header come up, hopefully full screen. Oh well, close enough. Not going to do it again. Now, it's not doing anything. Fine. It's ignoring the SSH heartbeat. It's knowing all the stuff's happening outside the containerized environment. So I restart my Alpine. And it kind of comes to life. And now we can already see some of the things that are associated with it. Run C, capabilities, the events, the times, some of the system calls that are happening inside there. And that's kind of cool. And if I start doing things that were invisible before, I can see it react. I can do ping. Is that going to work? We can see all the networking activity capabilities happening inside that container. So this is what we started doing to check for malicious behavior in a running container and something you can do in your desktop. Now you have to be pretty geeky, but it's still pretty cool, right? Because you can see all the Linux behavior that instead of outside of the containerized environment is now happening inside the containerized environment. Question?
That I had to actually, so when I start Tracy and then I keep doing stuff in an already running container, it won't observe anything. So I need to kill the container, so a new one. Is that like what's the hook that kicks off Tracy? Like, does it watch the Docker daemon and?
We have to have a conversation afterwards.
All right. Okay.
Did everybody hear the question? Super complicated. We made a blog post on it. Actually, we have a blog post on Tracy on our Aqua. We should just send you there because that breaks it all down. Okay. So this is the idea. Now it's pretty basic, and I'm not getting into that kind of detail. But the idea is that an ability to be able to trace and watch runtime activity independent of what happens inside the container that isn't in a previously concealed environment, and that's now visible. That's kind of what I wanted you to see. Now there's things you can do with this to extend Tracy and join the team. It's in beta, by the way. Like, there's no pretty output for it yet. It just kind of looks cool. And I'll end by showing you the reason we made it in the first place before we made it open source. It's because we needed to solve a problem, and that was visibility inside running containers. I'm just going to show you a slide, essentially. Unfortunately, finished. I'm not going to show you the real thing because it's not real yet. But we took this tool, and from it, what we made was this. And this is, we don't have a name for it yet, but this is the thing that we use to make sure at Aqua, in our R&D, that we aren't doing something stupid, or we're not using a base image that has malicious content, and we're building, based on watching Tracy output, just a pretty interface. This is not a pretty interface, but it's an okay interface, right? And we're creating signatures around known attacks that come in through our own honeypot. We have open APIs all over the place. So malicious containers keep coming in, and people keep trying to run them in our environment because we have an open Docker API. We have open Kubernetes. We have everything, all the worst things you're not supposed to do. We have all these things. And so if anybody's got a malicious container, they are trying to run it in our environment. And we're using Tracy to watch everything that's happening and the way the process starts up and build a signature database that can say that is definitely, that's an obvious one, the crypto miner. But characterize the behavior so that we can then release like a research database that says, now you can, and you'll be able, this will be public, I think. Oh, that's Jane. You didn't care. This year, as a platform solution so that you can submit things. Is that SaaS?
Oh, sorry.
This will be a SaaS solution. I think we're going to just release it so that people can then try running containers in a sandbox. If you've ever heard of Cuckoo, it's like a way of sandboxing malware. It's like Cuckoo for containers. Wow, that sounds good when you say it that way. We should call it that. But that's the idea. That's how we started with Tracy running eBPF, getting visibility into containers, and it just kind of got out of hand, and this happened. But rather than release this immediately, we've released Tracy, and that's what's allowing you to get that kind of that look. You look like you have a question.
I'll say you could call it Tracy Island. I think it'd be quite fun.
Oh. All right, I'm going to submit that. This is being made in Tel Aviv. They'll have no idea what that means.
What's the code?
Excellent. I'm way over time. Those are the 3 tools I wanted you to see today. I hope you got that. It's all online. You can, if it didn't work today, it all works in any Linux environment. And if you like Trivy, one little bit about Trivy, and you use a Mac, brew install Trivy. All you need to do, and you've got Trivy. Very cool. That is the end. Thanks. Let's find it. Did I destroy it because my Chrome crashed? Let me see if I did. 'Cause I think that Chrome crashed, so I lost it. You're gonna have to bring it back. You're gonna have to bring it back.
Do we have the link for the?
Does somebody have the link for the raffle? Anyone?
Anyway, whilst we're waiting for the link, thank you all very much for coming. We do have pizzas, and they have arrived, but just not in this room. So they'll be sent over here. But yeah, guys, we are continuously hiring. I'm not a recruiter myself, but I can point you in the right direction if this is something that you want to get into. If digital and DevOps is somewhere that you do want to get into, please have a chat with me, and I'll point you in the right direction. If you're currently going through any challenges in your organisation that you need the help of Aqua and any other help along whatever journey you're on, we can help you there as well.
Would you like a free tab?
Yes, please.
All right, go for it.
Oh, that's not actually a slide, is it?
Did anyone participate
Yep.
in the raffle?
It's not a raffle, it's a competition.
Competition. Just one person? Okay, one person in this room out of the...
Do you have to be in this room to win?
No.
Oh, darn. I was like thinking, yeah.
Okay, so there we go.
Okay, well, there's only one person that's entered that's here today.
That's fine.
So if you win, you're really lucky.
We
there's another
can
guy.
give you your gift now. If you have entered, or if anyone knows of anyone who's entered and you're not here today, we'll get in touch with you post the event anyway, and we'll find out an address and we'll ship out the prize to you. So if no one knows about this, the 555 is a competition. It's to celebrate the DevOps Playground reaching 5,000 members recently. So worldwide, it's across 4 of our venues, one in Pune, we got Singapore, Edinburgh, and obviously in London. It was running for the last 6 weeks, and what we did is have the panda. He went out into London, and we photographed him in different locations. And all you had to do is identify where he was in London on those 5 locations. And what we've done here, one of the guys in the room has created a random name chooser. So out of the 50 people that we had entered, we now are just going to click winners, hopefully. And here's the panda. Good timing, good timing. All right, ready? Drum roll, people.
Ooh.
Okay, so we got, oh my goodness, I can't say that first name. Anyone?
Jayaprakash Rajendran?
Something? Yeah?
Jayaprakash Rajendran.
No? Well done.
Yeah, the next one.
Dan Jones?
Nope.
Nope, okay. I don't know the next one.
Here's number 4?
Number
Yeah,
4.
number 4.
What are the chances of that?
We will go get your prize in a second. 2 seconds. We got Marcus Isherwood. Nope. And number 3, who we missed out very briefly, was Either way, those are our 5 winners. Very congratulations to Christian. We'll go get your prize now.
What is the prize?
The prize, we've got a limited edition Playground sweatshirt, jumper. There you go. And you've also got a free ticket to a zoo, so you and a friend can get to go to any zoo in the UK to go see a panda, for real if you want. More swag, there's a bag, etc., etc. So congratulations, well done. And yeah.